Alright, we're back. I come up into my knee ride as cleanly as possible. Maybe I'm in this switch base position. I might as well show you a new entry into the knee ride that I don't think I've covered yet. So I'm in this switch base position. I put my weight on his shoulder, weight on his hips, and then I'm going to slide up, keeping my hips glued to his thigh, right? So he's sitting with his knees up to the air, and I'm gliding my hips alongside there so that he can't start to try to block me with that leg and prevent this knee ride. So I've come up, I've got my head inside this box here, I've got his hip and shoulder pinned, right? So he's gonna have a lot of trouble getting me off here. Unlike in other positions, because my connection is so great in other positions, what makes knee ride unique to me in a very powerful position for me is that it's mobile, right? Again, the first thing I showed you with knee ride, like he starts to turn away, and you saw it in our rolling video. You know, you can very easily switch sides on the knee ride. You can also start to step around on the knee ride, right? All that. So it's a very mobile position, and that's what makes it such a pain in the ass to get out of. I think for me, the knee ride is the hardest position to escape. A lot of people think it's side of control, but I actually personally believe it's the knee ride. And in a no-gi scenario, I only have one escape for it. So we'll show you that when we're hopefully out of quarantine. But and also, if you're wondering why I'm not showing you a lot of like from the bottom stuff, it's not because I don't have a partner. It's because I want you to be able to, when you do start rolling again, practice these things, get to top control, and be able to work from it, right? I don't want to show you the counters to everything while you're still trying to learn how to be on top and stay on the top. So from here, two knees together, I slide that down just like we did in the last video. I'm going to start sliding my leg back. I'm going to flick my other leg over here. Now, from here, I'm going to do something a little bit bizarre, right? So maybe I've got this posted out, and maybe I'm going for this, but I know that the bicep slice is not legal. So I'm going to try to grab his wrist this way with my thumb and my middle finger predominantly. I don't want to grip with my whole hand because, again, our forearms are tapered here. If I try to grip with all of this, it's going to be very easy to slide it out. But if I get those two fingers to marry on that, it's going to be very hard for somebody to break that grip, or at least it's going to be significantly harder. It's a much stronger grip. Believe me, it really is. So I grab his wrist with that grip, right? So from here, I build my posture up. I'm going to slide my legs, and I'm going to sit down, and I'm going to hold that arm up and close to my body, right? So from here, I can post up and sit on his chest. And I can go either way with this. I tend to prefer to like to swing my legs over this way. I feel like it's harder for him to block me. But if he does start to block me with his leg, he might be able to actually sit up on me. So if you want to, you can spin that way or you can spin this way. It is up to you. Try both out and see what works for you. So if I'm going this way, right, I spin around and I hit that armbar. Right? So I have this position. I'm going to swing both my legs over this way. And because he's already flat on the ground, I might not have really good hip penetration here, right? So I got my knees dug in, and I'm going to take this figure four grip. This is what I like. My coach will tend to like grab the gi or grab the wrist with two hands, and he'll push away. I feel less secure with that. But you do what works for you. I'm not saying that my coach is wrong. I'm just saying that this is what I prefer. So I fold his arm over, and I've got this grip here. Just a little C grip. Again, I don't want to clamp around in this particular instance. And I'm just going to roll this way, and that's going to create some space here. And I'm not going to try to pull him on top of me. That's a lot of work, and it's not really reliable, right? He's got more ability to resist that and start working his shoulder back down if I try to pull him towards me. So instead, I scoot under him, right? I move me because I'm easier to move. So I've got my boots on, heels in, knees together. I start to work for the top of the lever. I'm putting my thumb into his palm, right, to keep his thumb going the way I want to. In this case, I want to be going kind of that way. And I'm going to glue his arm to my chest. But remember, when you go back, you don't want to stretch his arm out this way. You just want to have it glued onto your body. And so you're going to drop down again. My weight's on this hip, not this hip, because he needs to sit up to start to escape this. And then I break it over my hip. And to kind of give you what my coach says when it comes to the armbar, this is soft like a mattress. This hip is a bone. That's your iliac crest. It is actually more effective to break it over your hip than it is down the midline, right? I think that a lot of people really struggle with that straight back one. So bringing it over here and lifting this hip up and over is going to be a much more secure way of doing that. So, 2 cents there. Knee right. We started from here. We'll do it again. Post, post, slide up his thigh, keeping my hip connected. Just move my leg in. Notice that my back foot, you can't see it, but it's tucked under his hip there. So I've got my head inside the box. I'm not letting it come out any one direction because I don't want to lose this position now that I've worked so hard to get it. Knees together, and I start to slide that leg back and down. I won't need to move this hand, but since this is a rolled up towel, I had to do that. So here I create some space. I flick my other leg in. A lot of times my coach will show up where he comes down and he establishes his side control and this leg is on the ground. That's fine too, right? And it's probably better because you're actually closing up space. So flick in and I've got that, right? So here I maintain connection and I roll back and I bring his arm up. Again, I might reach back. He might already have his arm in this position. I don't want to do that bicep slice because maybe it's not legal where I'm going, or maybe I'm, accidentally broke somebody's arm doing a bicep slice in the past and I'm traumatized, so I don't want to see that again. I have not. I'm just saying maybe you did. I don't know. Please don't take a bicep slice and break somebody's arm with it. So slide through. I cracked me up. And I've now got his arm kind of pinned to my chest. And I've got that nice C-grip in this particular instance. Again, I'm not using all my fingers. I'm mostly focusing on middle and thumb. So from here, I'm going to post on his shoulder. And I'm going to slide up and I'm going to sit on his chest. Now from here, I'm going to roll over, drop down, create this figure 4, scoot under. So I got nice hip penetration, heels in, boots on, heels in, knees together, top of the lever, down, slide down. My right hip is up to the hip that's closest to his hip, and then I start to lift up that hip as I keep to the top of the lever stuck in one position. So I'm lifting up on that elbow and hyperextending it. I don't know the name of that position, guys. So we're going from a knee ride, we're getting that arm trapped with both legs, we're moving up to this butt on chest position, flicking around, and we're catching that arm bar. You're going to see here in a second why I really, really like that position, because it goes into the principle of the big 3 in jiu-jitsu. Arm bars, triangles, and omoplatas, all 3 are there.